So these are the brand new Adidas D.O.N issue 7s months before they officially release on Adidas.com, and there's a lot to unpack with these. These are a super crazy shoe. Right off the bat, aesthetically, these things are incredible. We got the zipper shroud in the front with the laces underneath. This is a wild gradient camp colorway is what it's called. But what's crazy about these is, like I said, I got these 2 months before these released to the public, and in order to do that, I had to drive 7 hours to Cleveland, Ohio. That's right, I drove 7 hours to Cleveland, Ohio, of all places. And I actually drove that 7 hours to Cleveland, not just to get these months before they release officially, but also because I'm a Cavs fan, I'm a Donovan Mitchell fan, and I got to see game 1 of Pacers versus Cavs, which ended in a very unfortunate loss, but the release for these shoes was super cool. We're gonna get into the details and the nitty-gritty, but I did want to tell you guys a little bit about the release for this shoe, because at the game they had this whole setup. They had a big freezer, and it was a collaboration with Mitchell's Ice Cream, or Nice Cream or something. It was an ice cream shop that I think Donovan Mitchell helps, promote. And this ice cream shop had these 2 big freezers that were full of these shoes, and you could try them on, and I did. So I tried on a size 10, which I ended up going with for this, and they pulled them out of the freezer and they were freezing cold. Like, the shoes themselves were cold. The shoes came with free ice cream, which was really cool at this exclusive release. No special box or anything, but I did pick up this t-shirt that was only available at the arena. I'll show you the back of it. It's the collaboration with the ice cream company, which is really cool. So there was some exclusive merch, and then you got free ice cream, and the ice cream was delicious. And you got the shoes months before they released in person, just for showing up to the Cavs game. I was actually the first person, believe it or not, in the world, I think, to buy these officially. There might have been some like resale pairs available via StockX or GOAT, but in terms of like the first retail buyer, I believe I was the first person in the world to buy these shoes. I was first person in the arena. I got there like 2.5 hours before the game started, and I was the first person in line. Signed a waiver, they took my picture, and they even took a bunch of pictures of me trying the shoes on, because I think I was the first person to try them on even. So there's a guy who was taking professional photos, and he took a bunch of pictures of me trying on these shoes. So it was a pretty cool experience. I picked these up before anybody else because I had to make sure that I secured a pair of these shoes. I've been waiting on them for a long time. Because I drove 7 hours to Cleveland, well, 1, to watch the game, but also mostly to get these shoes so I could do this super early review. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm giving away 2 free pairs of Kobe's to 2 of my first 70,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already subscribed, do that before I hit 70K. You might win a free pair of Kobe's. You're gonna be getting a performance review soon. So it would mean a lot if you liked and subscribed, maybe shared this video with a friend. But yeah, we'll get into some of the details. Now, performance-wise, I have not played in these shoes yet. I've only tried them on, you can tell because the tag is still on. But I've tested out the traction, I've tested out the cushion, I've worn them around a little bit, I've got a sense of how they feel on my feet. But a performance review, a full-length performance review, will probably be coming in a week or so. But I don't think that these release officially until July. I could be wrong, but as of now, the internet is telling me that July is the official release date, which would fall in line with former Donovan Mitchell shoes like the D.O.N issue 6s, which also released in July of last year. So let's talk about these in general, the materials and everything. First off, aesthetic-wise, these are incredible. I actually love these. You might disagree. There's a lot of people who are saying, oh, Adidas stole Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's design, and they actually did not. I believe that these had images officially surfaced before the Shai ones. Whoever designed first, I don't know, but I think it's a coincidence that these and the Shai shoes look similar. They're not even that similar, it's just because of the zipper on the front. But Adidas didn't steal from Converse, and Converse probably didn't steal from Adidas. But anyways, aesthetically, I love these. There's so many hidden details that you probably can't even see from photos. For example, I'll get some up-close shots on this. The zipper itself has spider webs on it. That's just such a tiny detail, and yet they went the extra mile. They put spider webs on the zipper. You got spider webs in the outsole here, where the cushion is, spider webs there. And unfortunately, I was gonna get into this later with some of the materials, but this carbon fiber is again fake. Adidas has been doing this. The AE ones featured a carbon fiber design. It's not real carbon fiber. The D.O.N issue 6s actually featured this exact same carbon fiber design. It was not carbon fiber. So it looks like it is, it's not. If you want carbon fiber shoes, check out the Way of Wade 5 Ultras. I actually have a discount code that is High Flying Hayden 10. So if you want $10 off a real pair of shoes with carbon fiber, get those, but I'm not hating on these. They're still, I think, going to be a good performer when it's all said and done. Of course, like I said, I haven't played in them, but they're going to be good based on some of the things that I've seen. So support-wise, just from trying these on my feet, the support is really good. Donovan Mitchell shoes always have incredible support, and these are no different. They have a very wide base. They have this outrigger, the fake carbon fiber, which does help with containment a little bit. And in general, the base is super wide, as you can see from the heel of the shoe as well. Very wide base, lots of cushion. The support on these, I think, is gonna be great. I'll give you my full thoughts on that soon, but I think you're not gonna really have to worry about much when it comes to support, and traction is perfect. The traction is going to be perfect. I've only tried these out on my hardwood floors inside, but the reason I know the traction is gonna be perfect is it's the same traction pattern as the D.O.N issue 6s. The forefoot is quite literally the exact same. They changed nothing. And the heel is a little bit different. They changed a tiny bit with the heel, but the D.O.N issue 6s had some of the best traction out of any basketball shoes I've played in the entire year, and really just ever. So the traction on these is going to be incredible. There's gonna be nothing to worry about. The rubber compound feels the exact same, which means durability is gonna be mediocre for outdoor use, but for indoor use, you'll be fine. I mean, Adidas could use this traction pattern on every single shoe and it would be a home run. It works. The rubber compound and the pattern is perfect. You have to try them out for yourself to see what I mean, because the traction is incredible, but I think it's gonna be no different on the D.O.N issue 7s. The cushion is the same as well as the D.O.N issue 6s. One thing we don't know yet, there's not tech specs to back this, is whether or not the heel has Light Strike Pro. Apparently in the 6s, I thought it was Light Strike Pro throughout the entire thing, but it turns out with the 6s, it was just Light Strike Pro in the forefoot, and this one has Light Strike Pro right here on the forefoot. You can see it in the cushion text. But we don't know if the heel portion, like the D.O.N issue 6s, is regular Light Strike or Light Strike Pro. It feels, at least to the touch, like it is Light Strike Pro. It feels softer, and it feels a lot like the cushion you get on the Dame 9s. And so that is an upgrade from the 6s if that's true. Some people might worry about court feel. Court feel could be a little bit affected by the cushion. It feels like there's a little bit more under your heel especially. They're not as low to the ground as the D.O.N issue 6s, which I'm sure some people are not gonna love. We'll see how it feels when I play in them, but overall cushion right out of the box, it feels incredible. And I think it should hold up when I actually play in these. We'll have to wait and see on that. The materials and the quality, here's one thing that you definitely would not know from the pictures. This shroud, I thought there was gonna be material underneath, like this was gonna be a whole shroud, but really it's just a shroud for the zipper, and this material is like this, it's fabric-y. Like it's not, I thought it was gonna be rubbery or something like the Harden Volume 8s where it has like that rubbery cage. This is actually just fabric. So the material is different than I thought, and there's nothing underneath it. So this is the only layer of the shoe. There's only 2 layers where the zipper is. The rest is just 1 layer of fabric. Now, I don't think the ventilation because of that is going to be great, but I don't think that these materials are gonna be as suffocating as I initially thought. I just think that they're going to struggle a little bit with ventilation because, like I said, it's this fabric, it's not a mesh, it doesn't breathe very well. And Donovan Mitchell, I actually watched a review, was saying that these are great lifestyle shoes. He was like trying to create a shoe that would be great on the court and for lifestyle usage, and you can definitely tell because it feels like these, especially compared to the 6s, might actually not be a better performer. However, they might be a more wearable shoe overall. It almost seems like they're going 50-50 with like, hey, you can rock these lifestyle and play in them. But we'll see. The materials just kind of give me that vibe, because if they were going like for an ultimate performance shoe, they would put mesh on this or like a super light and breathable material, but instead they opted for this fabric design to make it more, I guess, aesthetically appealing and more lifestyle friendly. So I don't hate it, but I don't love it, and we don't know how it feels yet on foot when I play in it. But on foot, just walking around, it feels fine. And then talking about some other materials, this zipper area is mostly just like kind of this stretchy, you know, textile. It's nothing crazy. And the lacing system underneath, material-wise, or just lacing setup-wise, is essentially the same as the D.O.N issue 6s as well. There's definitely a lot of similarities that these two shoes share with each other, and that's mostly because I think it was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, they went with the same lacing setup because on the 6s it had great lockdown, and I really liked that lacing setup. It's not burrito style. They did that for the D.O.N issue 5s. They went with a burrito style tongue, which was fine, but I prefer a regular tongue, and this is a regular tongue. So I do like it, and then on the back you have this like faux suede that goes all the way around where the Adidas logo is. The good thing about these shoes is they feel premium. Like these feel like they would be on the same caliber as like the Harden line, which is like $160. But these are $120. And the materials, they feel really nice. And one final thing about it, which kind of goes into like cushioning or padding, these have a lot of cushioning on the inside for your heel. So heel slippage in these is gonna be great. There shouldn't be any because there are these ankle pillows, which I'll get some B-roll of. Now for the fit was basically the exact same as the Don Issue 6s as well. I went with a size 10 in these. So if you have the Don Issue 6s, go with the same size, but it's definitely worth trying on if you can. I was glad that they had pairs that I could try on because otherwise I would have gone 10.5 to be safe, but a size 10 worked with me. They had a little extra room. They are pretty wide footer friendly. It's, again, I mean, this outsole is essentially the same as the 6s. So if you are a wide footer and you enjoyed the Don Issue 6s, then you're gonna like the Don Issue 7s as well. A couple more things I wanted to talk about with this initial review. One of them is the weight. Like I said briefly, I think that the materials affect the weight of this shoe. I haven't weighed these yet. I'm gonna weigh them after this, so I'll put it in, but they feel a little bit heavy, especially compared to the Don Issue 6s, which were a super light shoe. And these feel like they're taking a step back with weight, which they're sacrificing for aesthetics. It's early, and I say this with like every new Donovan Mitchell shoe to come out, but I think that the potential that this silhouette has is higher than the 6s. I mean, they're just such a unique looking shoe, and if you like this kind of simple, you know, the 3 stripes that come across, which is super cool. Also, these like protrude out of the shoe. This is not a flat design. These are like little rubbery beads that come across, which is kind of cool. But if you like this silhouette, then you're gonna love this shoe and the colorways that they release in the future, because there's a lot of gradients and it feels super futuristic. So aesthetically, I think it's taking a step forward, but performance-wise, with the weight, with the materials, with some of the breathability, it might be taking a step back. I'll display the weight of these versus the 6s right here whenever I get these measured. But yeah, that's kind of how it's feeling right now. They feel a little bit heavier. So yeah, that's kind of it for an overview on all those little performance things. I'll typically do a performance review with all of those categories I talked about, and I give them points based on it. So there'll be a point system and a proper ranking on where these fall in my next video, so stay tuned for that. But for now, I just wanted to run you through a couple more of the details that you're not gonna catch visually if you're just seeing these in pictures, because we haven't really gotten a really detailed in-hand look. But one of the things that really interested me and made me think that this upper was gonna be rubbery is this weird little like durability cage that goes around the top. It's this really cool design where like it almost looks like those, you know, when you like put your pencil in the little thing on the paper, like in middle school, and you could like draw those like circles and stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's like an optical illusion that goes all the way around, like these lines that cross over each other. And it's like this little rubber caging, I think that's just there for durability on 4-foot strikes, especially if you're playing outside. And then on the back here, you have this issue 7 where the traction pattern meets the cushioning. Kind of a cool little detail. Same with the heel tab. You get a D.O.N for Donovan Mitchell. The Don logo is up there. And then of course the spider logo, you can see that in pictures, but it looks super sick. And then on the inside, you have the Donovan Mitchell logo as well on the insole. And by the way, the insole of this shoe, paper stock, super flimsy, feels just like all the other Donovan Mitchell shoes. It has another light strike strobel, I believe, because you can see the little punch hole into the light strike that goes underneath. That doesn't add much. It adds like a tiny bit of step-in comfort, but it doesn't really add much when it comes to performance or feel or step-in comfort. But it is worth noting, I'm sure that in the tech specs it'll say light strike strobel, but that just means that they're kind of adding, like, I guess, a lighter strobel board so that you can get through to the light strike. And then underneath, there is not really like an X-plate type of thing, but you can kind of see where this fake carbon fiber like protrudes up here, and I'm sure that underneath there is like a springy system, because you can feel the bend right here, like the 4-foot flex, and it really has like a springy sensation to it. You can't just bend it up. So I think there's another like X-plate inside. Overall, these in hand are super cool. I'm really excited to play in them. But yeah, like I said earlier in the video, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. And that's gonna do it for my initial thoughts and reactions with the Don Issue 7s. I'm super excited to test these out and give you guys a full breakdown on all my thoughts and opinions on this shoe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.